Hey, give me a break. I had to do it.
I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. Boycott the inauguration. It's very simple. Don't go, don't watch, don't tweet, don't respond, don't spend money on it, don't spend one brain cell on it.
But Keith, what if I want to see if the Bible is going to leap from his hands or something?
Depend upon this. If the Bible leaps from his touch, or the authorities arrest him for violating the Logan Act, you will hear about it.
For those of you who don't know what the Logan Act is, I'm going to provide the context for you right here. The Logan Act, enacted January 30th, 1799, is a United States federal law that forbids unauthorized citizens from negotiating with foreign governments having a dispute with the U.S. It was intended to prevent the undermining of the government's position. So here we have Keith talking about the possible arrest of the President of the United States on his inauguration day for what I assume is the Russian hacking incident that has no evidence linking Donald Trump to Russia and absolutely no evidence even indicating that Russia influenced the election. It's all hearsay.
And if you are an elected Democratic official, under no circumstances attend. I don't want to hear about you working with him unless you're working with him to move to the Caymans. I want to hear about your plans to impeach him or force him to resign.
Right off the bat, I can tell you that this is dangerous rhetoric that Mr. Olbermann is using, and not to the incoming president. We've seen with President Obama that when elected officials stand in the way of progress, an executive order does just as well. I would think that these things are the kind of things you'd want to avoid. So instead of taking a hard line against our nation's leader, why don't you work with him?
I believe in forgiveness, Congressman John Lewis said. I believe in trying to work with people. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president. I think the Russians participated in helping get this man elected, and they helped destroy the candidacy of Hillary Clinton. I don't plan to attend the inauguration. You cannot be at home with something that you feel is wrong. I think there was a conspiracy on the part of the Russians and others to help him get elected. That's not right. That's not fair. That's not the open democratic process.
John Lewis is the same guy that boycotted the inauguration of George W. Bush when he came into office in 2001. He stated that he did not believe him to be the truly elected president. He believes there was a conspiracy to get Donald Trump elected. Really? Involving the Russians? Really? So where's the evidence? When you can show me evidence that can be backed up, then maybe we can talk about Trump's possible illegitimacy for office.
To John Lewis, one of my heroes, wrote Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, please come to the inauguration. It isn't about a man. It is a celebration of peaceful transfer of power. Bullshit. If you think, Senator, that handing over this country to the puppet of Vladimir Putin should be celebrated and should be a peaceful transfer of power, you are not only not loyal to this country, but you know nothing about John Lewis.
That's great. If John Lewis truly believes that Trump is a Russian puppet, as you put it, then I commend him for standing by his beliefs. However, I don't think a man like that should be in office, believing in conspiracy theories and showing the utmost disrespect and disloyalty to our nation's highest office. The same peaceful transfer of power that you were going on and on about in an episode of The Closer before the election is the same peaceful transfer of power we're talking about now. Mr. Olbermann, your butthurt is showing.
If you think, Senator, that we will let you or anybody else normalize the transfer of power to a racist,
prove it. Prove he's a racist.
seemingly psychotic,
Seemingly. That's an objective word. Seemingly to you, maybe. But to the people who voted him in, I think he seemed like probably the sanest politician on the stage.
Russian plant. Perhaps you should look again at how heroes like John Lewis responded the last time the white supremacists of this country insisted this was about power and that we must all accept its use and its misuse peacefully.
If you could prove that Donald Trump is racist, you'd have a case. If you could prove that Donald Trump is a Russian plant, you'd have a case. If you could prove that Donald Trump is not of sound mind, you'd have a case. The problem is, Mr. Olbermann, that you can't prove any of these accusations, and that's just what they are. Baseless accusations. If you could prove any of these, my signature would be right below yours on the impeachment petition. Until then, stop slandering our president.
John Lewis once did very noble things, tweeted the editor of the Wall Street Journal's Weekend Review, but that shouldn't give him a pass for poor judgment now.
Agreed.
See this? This is the Gallup poll on how Americans of all shapes, sizes, and parties are reacting to how Trump is handling the transition.
See this? This is the Gallup poll showing how Americans of all shapes, sizes, and parties were going to vote in the 2016 election. Oh, wait, it's wrong? Oh, I'm sorry.
Put your fucking hands up.